Welcome everybody. This morning I'm going to set up a cell builder for my queen rearing operation and wanted to try to give a video about the process so that those who have not tried it before have an idea of what I'm using right now. There's variations on this, so please know that this is just the way I'm doing it. There might be a way for you to do it similar, but your own different methods. Start with, I'm going to show you what I've got. So I've got a bench so that I can sit down and take a box off and sit on the bench to look through it. I've got a double screen bottom board, which is going to go between the two brood boxes. I've got a queen excluder here as well. I've got the smoker and the hive tool. So what I'm going to do is take the honey super off, set it aside, and then I'm going to take the first box off, the top box, and I'm going to set it on the bench, and I'm going to look for the queen. If I can find the queen in the top box, then great. I'll isolate her in a nuke box. If she's not in the top box, or I cannot find her in the top box, I will set the top box aside, and then I'll actually go ahead and take the bottom box and also move it over to the bench so that there's less bees flying around exactly where I'm trying to find the queen, because the bottom box can be pretty crowded. So let's get started. I'm going to set this remote aside, and I'm going to do the veil only. Hope that the bees are behaving this morning. Plenty of smoke. So looking in the top of this, not much activity in the honey super. Was kind of hoping that this has been out for a while, building brood. Used it as a cell builder a few times, but has not had any restrictions on the amount of brood. Got some honey in the super, but not a huge amount. So set this aside. And this is the top box with the queen excluder over it. Take the queen excluder off. Lots of bees in here, lots of fresh white wax where they've been building. And then we got probably a frame of brand new foundation with some new comb on it. So I'll just go ahead and take this entire thing off, put it on the bench, and work on it over there. I will show you this before we get started so I can bring it up close. This is a prototype for a temperature and humidity sensor. So the temperature and humidity sensor is off the shelf from Govee, Govee, but it's much larger housing, will not fit between frames, will not fit between boxes. I'm working on a custom housing to make that work. So I'll set this aside, give the bees a little bit of smoke, and then move this box over to the bench to look for the queen. So this one's quite heavy, a lot of honey in the top box. I will give these guys a little bit of cover to keep them calm. Take my smoke over here and start looking for the queen. Being at a seated position for looking for the queen, I found is pretty helpful. A little less back strain as you stand there and hold frames over an extended period of time. And if you're hunched over, it fatigues your back pretty quick. So to find the queen, I'm just getting the sunlight on the bees' backs. I'm not really looking at individual bees. You look for the big bees this time of year, you see a lot of drones, and they're not the queen. So you just have to look more generally for the queen's shape and movement. Also looking for evidence that this could have swarmed. I do have, I don't know if it's a recent or an old queen cell on the bottom frame, but we'll just take note of that. I will set this frame aside into my nuke box and move on to another frame. Bees are very calm. So this will also be my donor queen for grafting today. And since the bees are nice and calm, that's what I'm aiming for, are gentle bees that your everyday beekeeper can work without too much aggression. This top box is second frame in, and as best I can tell, get some sun down in there, is got a good number of eggs in it. So I'm going to pay a little extra attention to the frame now that I see the eggs in it, in case that's the one she's been laying in most recently. Might still be on it. So I will put this in the nuke box too, just to have it out of the way. And then I'll just start sliding the rest of the frames over after I've looked at them. Usual cluster of bees here, so I'm going to check it out. I do have what appears to be a queen on it. Unmarked queen. I believe this one has had a marked queen in the past, so it could be a new queen, virgin queen. I'm going to take her off. I'll put her in this on this frame and keep looking at what's going on in here in case this was a queen balling situation. I'll take this one over here onto the hive cover so that if another queen falls out, I can separate the two, because maybe this has had a requeening or a swarm situation before and the queens are duking it out for superiority here, and if so, I will need to use a different colony for a cell builder, because I will be unlikely to be sure I have no queens in the box that needs to build the cells. I just see, a lot of bee activity down here, but I don't see that there's another queen in here. So I'm going to use this opportunity to go grab a queen clip, get that queen in the box isolated in a queen clip, see if I can find the one I saw running around in here, be able to get it. All right, so I've got a marked queen on this frame, and I am pretty confident I took an unmarked queen off of the other frame who they weren't necessarily keen with. So I'm going to make sure this one's okay. That's my marked known queen, which I did not see, but then thought I saw a plucked off an unmarked queen. So I'm going to keep looking through both these frames, see if I see that unmarked queen again or not. Let me go ahead and get another queen clip just in case. Okay, so here's a queen that is probably a virgin queen and is unclear what's going on here other than perhaps a swarm imminent or perhaps a supersedure imminent, but they were balling up on this queen. Makes me think they didn't necessarily want this queen. All right. So given the totality of what I've seen so far, what I'm going to do is I am a little hesitant to use this as a cell builder, but I will look through the rest of the hive through the frame, see if I see evidence of other queen cells, and if these are the only two queens that I find in here today, then I will make sure that The marked one is in the bottom and stays with the colony. I'll take this one with me with some workers, and I'll probably be able to introduce it into a mating node to see what happens with it there. All right, so I'm going to leave those right there for now. Get my hive tool back, finish looking at the rest. It's got brand new wax, some open cells that could be used for brood, but right now, not any eggs or larvae. I'll scan for another queen because of the situation we've got with multiple queens and move on. This frame has a pretty young larva on it. So I may try to use this one for grafting later in a few more hours. So I'm going to put some marks on here with my hive tool. Remember to look at this one as a potential for grafting. And take this box in a different spot out of the way. Returning foragers, I'm going to move this over here too. This one's quite heavy. So instead of putting all this excess nectar up into honey supers right now, they're filling up both of the brood boxes with it. So this frame, first frame out, lots of capped brood, even on the outside. So and some pollen. So I really think I want to maybe move this frame or similar frames to it up. We got this one pretty well socked in with honey, a frame of foundation. I'm going to reorient the brood nest a bit. I'm going to save this one for the top box since all that new comb. This has honey in it for now, but nectar, they'll probably pull some of this out and make room for brood. This one is capped brood out the wazoo. I'm going to use this one in the top box. It's got a good amount of resources for the top box. More for the top box. So 1, 2. I'll set these up here out of the way. Okay, bottom box. Let's see. This one. Some larvae. So I like having some older larvae in the top box around the nurse bees, keep them up there working hard. Pollen, fresh pollen, so that'll be up in the top box. Just about everything else can go back into the bottom. All right. Here's some capped, lots of capped with honey. Put that in the bottom. We're going to get my frames back from over here. This has open cells for the queen to lay in. Ready to roll. We'll put this down in the bottom. This is my grafting frame, so it's going to stay in the top. Got some older larvae, too young to work with too much in the way of grafting. I'm gonna go ahead and put that in the bottom box. We've got another frame of larvae to go in the top. This is pretty much honey only. Put that up here. Plenty of food. And then my frame for grafting, it's going to go in right. All right. Gives the bees in the bottom work to do, queen some space to lay in, and gives us resources that are going to be in the top. So the other thing I'm going to do unusual is I'm going to turn the bottom board around, because now the bottom standard entrance that the bees are coming and going from is going to be on the back side. This box is going to be on there. I'll release the queen in it. But a lot of the foraging and new resources are not going to go into here right away. They're going to go into the top box during the cell building phase. So to start that, we're going to place a double screen board. So 2 screens, a couple of inch or so apart, keeps the transfer of the queen pheromone from happening physically. And with no physical transfer of the queen pheromone, the bees in the top sense that they're queenless. And then this afternoon, when I put in grafted queen cells, they will use the opportunity to build queen cells for about 24 hours. And then after the 24-hour period is up, I can take the top box off again, slip this off, put a queen excluder on it, and then turn the bottom board back around. It's now one whole queen-right colony, but the bees will still finish those queen cells over the next few days. And then this Sunday, coming up Sunday, I'll be able to take those queen cells out. So let's start that now. Put this back together. With the top box having some larvae, lots of resources, and lots of nurse bees, and lots of foraging coming in. I'll end up with a couple of extra frames that are going to be like just honey from, again, 2 queens, 1 mated, mother of the colony, a new queen, presumably not mated, and the bees are ignoring it. We're apparently perhaps trying to kill it. So I'm going to release this queen in here, make sure she crawls down below the double screen bottom board. All right, so there's the queen hanging out, getting attended, and now she's done underneath. Put this back over top. And then this on top. And then I'm going to put a queen excluder. I'm going to not put a queen excluder on over the honey super, because at this point I'm not worried about a queen getting up in there to lay, because if there is a queen in there, it's going to be, I'm going to know, because I'm not going to get any queen cells out of this, but I don't believe that's going to be the case. I'm going to put my temp sensor back in, and then shake the rest of the bees off the frames that I have into the top box, and store these frames until I can get them in another hive. Actually, this one might also make a really good grafting frame. I'll have 2 to pick from. So no queen excluder above this, because I'm just hoping they'll go ahead and use the time to run up here with any surplus nectar they're bringing in and put it up here now. Lid on top. And I will give this a good 2 hours or more before I try to insert queen cells in, grafted queen cells. But people have done it shorter than that. But I'm going to give it some time to make sure that when I put them in there, they know they're queenless. Hopefully they'll start working on those cells and I can get completed ones by the end of this week. I'll know how many as early as tomorrow. So that's it for me for this video. I hope it wasn't too long and too distracting to you. And watch out for the next one when I talk a little bit more about grafting.